So
Man. Now let's get into it, man, because recently we had a situation online where this whole DJ argument popped off between what should a DJ be doing for the artist and the DJ saying what do the artists should be doing for themselves and the DJ.
Yeah.
So it was Ron C, Smackwater, and I saw that you was involved in it as well, just getting it into it. Now, when I first saw it pop off, I think I saw Smackwater's video first. No, I'm going by who I saw first. I saw Smack first going in. So I'm watching Smack, me being a rapper.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, man, the DJ need to do this and they need to do that. Then I saw Ron C's rebuttal to Smack, and Ron C said a lot of stuff that I didn't look at it from that angle. I was like, okay, I kind of understand that too.
Yeah.
And then Too Deep come in and he throwing his jabs and getting and making some great points as well. So I want to go into that I don't care about how I got started because it's an age-old conversation. But what's your view on it as you looked at those two guys kind of spark it off, and then how did you view it?
Well, that whole thing actually started with me and Smack.
Okay.
Yeah, and after it went on for X amount of time, so it was like at least, I want to say 4 or 5 different exchanges between me and Smack before Ron C spoke up.
Okay.
Well, of course, you know, OG Ron C being who he is, you know, when he speak, people gonna definitely, you know, see him because, you know, he had.
What was you and Smack's discrepancy, I guess, or what were the differences that y'all would have?
Well, I actually kind of have 2 discrepancies from that entire exchange, and me and Smack, you know, good now. We didn't really have a problem then. We just had difference in opinion. One of the things that I said around that time is, you know, because people was looking at like me and him might get into, you know, a physical altercation. I'm just saying, in actuality, what it really is y'all used to seeing men disagree like girls. You seeing men disagree like men, and you seeing masculinity be displayed, and you think it must be finna be a fight.
Right.
But in actuality, you done seen your uncles do this before watching football. Look at them Dallas Cowboys, ain't nothing. And they not finna fight. But at the same time, you know, they got a certain way
they standing on it.
Yeah, they got a certain way that they posture when they standing on what they standing on.
Right.
And y'all not used to that. Y'all used to seeing men, you know, be passive aggressive, throwing shit in the air and hope you catch it and all that. And he don't come from that. And I most definitely don't come from that.
Right.
So, you know, that's what that was. But the main thing about all of it was beyond people not understanding what a DJ job really is there needs to be a differentiation made when you're talking about the most, what I would view as the most viewed forms of visual content for our community specifically, but people in general. So I say there's 3 categories. There's journalists. These are the people that have some kind of study. They did some kind of toolage. They got a certain criteria. They approach stories with a certain type of objectivity. They got a scientific method. If they find out they wrong, they feel obligated to print a retraction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Them people. Then you have podcasters. They don't necessarily research stories, but they bring stories that are already out there to light to a different audience, and they give their perspectives, letting you know that they are not the people doing the research. They are the people just giving a perspective. And then you got what I call niggas with microphones.
And cameras.
So these people are people who don't go by any rules other than, can I get views? And so they don't care about accuracy. They don't care about
integrity, man.
Misrepresenting anything to the people. They don't have a code of ethics that they go by other than, can I trigger you to watch me long enough to get a view?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily say that they need to be did away with, but they need to be looked at as, in my mind, NWM, niggas with microphones, is EPO, entertainment purposes only. Because right now we're looking at all 3 categories as journalists, and that's creating problems, because one of the things that was said during that interview is that, well, you know, Screw didn't really DJ clubs like that.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with stuff like that is if I'm a young DJ, let's say I'm
And who said that?
20 Smack said that.
Okay.
This is on a platform called High Thoughts TV.
Okay. Yeah.
And they was talking about the state of the DJ culture, and they were saying how we don't really have a street DJ to represent us, and how TikTok is better DJs than a lot of these cats, and ain't nobody trying to break no records and all that. And that's kind of how it started, because I stuck my hand up as to say, well, hey, I kind of been doing that my entire career. I'm still here, whatever. And it was like, then it turned into a thing where they was moving the goalposts. And I think that the people who that were mainly speaking towards me or toward the situation at the time was thinking, because they have larger platforms, that at some point I was going to concede. And so they kept moving the goalposts. Then it got to be, well, I'm talking about people like Ron C, DJ Screw, and Michael Watts. You comparing yourself to them? And then so I kindly showed a video of me giving music, Watts coming up to me at Hood Night and asking me for music and asking me to send him songs. And then it got to it kept going, and then that's when Ron C came in. And then it was like, okay, so Ron C telling you wrong. And then it got to the point where he started showing a video of Watts saying something about how people not supporting the artists and all of that. And it's like, and it got to the point where it looked like the only people that you agree with is people that then passed away and can't tell you that you're wrong. But even the DJ that you was comparing me to is telling you you're wrong. So it's like it got to a point where I was like, okay, you know what? You're gonna keep going, even though you wrong, or you don't have a leg to stand on from a factual standpoint. Everywhere you trying to move to, then you're saying, well, ain't nobody playing Scarface. Scarface don't make the kind of music that people at camp want to hear. It don't mean people don't listen to Scarface. I play Scarface all the time. It's like he kept moving the goalposts, and it got to the point where I just said, you know what? I got $1,000. Let's debate. We can go to Exotic Pop. They can set it up with Rap Economics. We can get on whatever platform you want. You bring your information, I'm gonna bring mine. Whoever is right, the other person's gonna come off $1,000. I'm gonna give 500 of it to whatever charity you want to give it to. But we finna get to the data, because all this, because you got more viewers, or because you can get all riled up. Like, let's start getting back to what the facts are. Because with a lot of these people is and it's bigger than Smack. I don't have nothing against Smack, but I do feel a certain way about how people can just impress views on impressionable people without any kind of facts or data or criteria for what they saying. Even with these lists of top 10, who the top 10 rappers and all, who are these people making the list?
Yeah.
And
what qualifies them?
And it's an individual opinion. So you got millions of people who have listened to a rap record. So they have every right to formulate whatever list but that list is going to be shaped by their era, by their preferences. So I would never argue with your list. I would never argue with, because in my mind, I'm like, I can look at it and go, but I would be crazy to argue with it.
Yeah.
Well, I always have two questions when I see these lists. One, what's the criteria? Two, who are the people judging the criteria? Because that's kind of like the categories between the journalists and the niggas with the microphones and the podcasters. I'm gonna, and for my personal taste, I'm gonna know how to look at this list by this thing. If I know what the criteria is, if the criteria is for say like album sales, I know album sales will be finessed. So if you're gonna base it off of album sales, then I know what matters to you, but I kind of also know how to look at your list too.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at also to who is the person that's judging this list, because if you grew up on Shake Your Laffy Taffy, then I also know how to look at this list.
Right.
And it ain't to say that your list shouldn't be your list. Whatever your list is
That's
your
your
list.
list.
But I know what's important on my list.
But you know what
And
else
I know
see?
not to expect me out of you if I know, okay, you base it on how many people then got shot in a video, and you base it on they jail record, and to me, your hottest rapper is Sexy Red. So I know how to look at your list now.
And also too, getting back to the list, because we're gonna go back into the DJ thing. Some people create a list strictly for shock value, strictly for the conversation to go to rile somebody up, to say, like, they'll put a certain rapper that it'll be Lil Doodoo, who we know what kind of music he make, and then right under him you got Rakim. So
That's
know
corny to
that
me,
they
though.
setting you up. They trying to aggravate you. So it's the same thing.
That all come from that space of niggas with
But
microphones.
you took the thought out of my mind.
That be the whole
The
thing.
same concept is of, okay, I got to do something to generate this controversy, to bring attention to whatever my platform
How
is.
about just be real good at what you do?
Yeah.
How about that? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with good ass raps being the gimmick?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Good acting.
Let me be
funny jokes. What's wrong with that?
I agree with you, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate. For some people who authentically put that list together, that is the good rap.
Yeah.
In their mind. Like, that's the good rap, because you can take a 23-year-old right now, and it's a good chance they've never even heard of Cool G rap. They say, man, you heard of Cool G rap? Who is that? I don't know who it is. I don't know who Cannabis is, or Rockin'. So if their reality speaks to who they hear, like you say, the Laffy Taffy or whatever, they like, when I was coming up, when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, that was it. So in their mind, they like, we ride with that.
Yeah, I guess I could understand that to an extent, but when it comes to certain types of rap, I've never seen anybody 10 years from now, like, so say for example, let me think of.
Cause I do it.
When you think about a lot of these rappers, right? Like, and you think back into why you listen to their music. I remember you had a line where you said something about kick so much ass in July that August was scared to come. And you go and you tell your partner, you like, nigga, that nigga said kick so much ass in July and August was scared to come, nigga. Like, damn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, think about that. That's what you're telling your partner when
Yeah.
I don't see nobody. Nigga, that nigga said, girl, shake your laughing taffy.
Brother K. Reno, look, man, the Underground Dialogue website is back in function. We back in motion, man. If y'all want Underground Dialogue podcast merch, whatever you need, go to undergrounddialogue.com and check us out. And always make sure that every Wednesday night, y'all are checking out the Underground Dialogue podcast right on YouTube, 9 p.m. Central Time. Yeah! What's up, man? It's your big brother, K. Reno. And check this out, man. The Underground Dialogue podcast is offering advertising opportunities, man. You can promote your business. You can promote your video, your song, whatever it is that you have, man. Reach out to us if you're interested in promoting on the Underground Dialogue podcast. All you got to do is email us at undergrounddialoguepodcast@gmail.com. Get it.